The letter on Administrator Vex's desk sat like an unexploded ordnance, vibrating with the silent threat of absurdity. Vex, a Drexari with a metabolism that processed caffeine analogs like water and a tolerance for nonsense that hovered near absolute zero, stared at the report. Candidate Davies. Terran. The incident report detailed a training accident where the applicant had intercepted a malfunctioning blade with her bare hand. Vex summoned his assistant, Kellis, whose scales shifted from a confused yellow-green to a nauseous purple as she reviewed the medical scans. Authentic, Kellis confirmed, her voice flat. Bone structure consistent with Class M bipeds. No regenerative tissue, no subdermal armor. Just fingers. Then how? Vex demanded. The virile combat blade is rated to slice compressed Durax steel. Inconclusive, Kellis read from the database. It was the only threat rating attached to humans, a species that had stumbled into the galactic community only 40 years prior. They were a biological riddle, apex predators who could die from a bacterial infection, yet somehow negotiate treaties with warrior races. Vex rubbed the ridges of his forehead. In administrative work, as in life, sometimes one opens a door simply to see the storm waiting behind it. Process the application, he ordered. If she's a fraud, she washes out. If she's dangerous, she belongs here. 6 weeks later, Davies stood amidst the sensory chaos of Caldith Academy. Her standard-issue scanner was having a digital nervous breakdown, screaming threat level extreme at a purple-skinned student debating beverage options. Does yours do that too? Davies turned to see Cor, a Quilven with 4 arms crossed in amusement. It's been predicting my death for 10 minutes, Davies admitted, silencing the device. I'd ignore it, Cor chirped, though the smart money says you won't last 2 weeks. I put 50 credits on the full semester, however. Humans have a reputation for being too stupid to quit. Davies considered this. Her grandmother had survived 3 cancers only to break a hip in the shower. Her neighbor had walked away from a plane crash but died from a peanut allergy. We're durable and fragile, she told Cor. Depends on the day. The training arena smelled of ozone and imminent violence. Blade Master Krev, a towering Varel, and Instructor Vess, a sicker and ambush specialist, moved through a demonstration that was less sparring and more a conversation in the language of murder. When the sparks settled, Krev asked for questions. Davies raised her hand. The transition to the overhead strike? Was the weight shift intentional misdirection? Silence descended, heavy as gravity. Krev beckoned her down to the floor. You saw the feat, he mused, a dangerous glint in his remaining eye. Let us test that observation. He raised the curved blade. I will move at combat speed. He struck. It was a demonstration cut, angled to miss by half a meter. But Davies, perhaps misjudging the distance or trusting her eyes too much, stepped forward to see the technique. The blade whistled toward her space. Instinct hijacked thought. She didn't dodge. She reached out. The impact sounded like wet meat slapping iron. Time stuttered. What? Krev whispered, staring at the human hand wrapped around the razor edge, blood welling between her fingers. Did you just do? Caught it, Davies gritted out. The debriefing room felt like an inquisitor's chamber. Medical Officer Tyne displayed the scans. Bruised bone, strained tendons, but miraculously the fingers were attached. Why? Vex pressed, looking at Davies as if she were a sentient math error. The scanner warned you. Physics warned you. I stepped forward to see better, Davies explained, her hands swathed in bandages. Evading would have required space I didn't have. The blade was coming. Grabbing it seemed productive. Productive, Vess echoed, light glinting off her carapace. You intercepted a lethal weapon with a manipulator limb. If I let go, it hits my ribs, Davies argued. Lesser of 2 evils. Vex looked at the file marked inconclusive. He realized then that the galaxy wasn't ready for humans. They didn't fight because they were fearless. They fought because they genuinely didn't understand when they were supposed to stop. Thine wants to list your species as suicidal, Vex said, but I think we'll go with educational. He turned to Krev. She stays, but you shadow her. I want to know if this is bravery or brain damage. My money is on both, Vess clicked. Davies was dismissed. As she walked down the corridor, cradling her injured hand, the scanner in her pocket remained silent, having finally accepted defeat. Vex watched her go, making a mental note to update his insurance. We often mistake survival for skill, but in the case of humanity, perhaps the refusal to accept the odds is the only skill that matters. Somewhere in the distance, a dinner bell chimed in a frequency only the hungry could hear, and Davies walked toward it.